Hi, good evening. Welcome to Sports Today. Well, big breaking news. The India squad for the T20 World Cup 2021 has been announced, and well, R. Ashwin has been named in that squad. It's a squad of 15, and there are three other standby players. So that's the news. R. Ashwin, who has, there was a lot of question mark around the fact that R. Ashwin hasn't been played in any of the four test matches so far against England in England, but he has been named in that T20 World Cup squad alongside a few other spinners. I'll come to the details, but that's one. That's the big angle of this team selection, and the other is MS Dhoni. The legendary MS Dhoni has been named mentor of the India team for the T20 World Cup. Of course, MS Dhoni, remember, had led India to the maiden to the inaugural had led India to victory in the inaugural T20 World Cup back in 2007. And of course, among India's greatest captains, among the greatest captains to have featured in limited overs cricket, MS Dhoni, who helped India to 2000 to the 2007 T20 World Cup, 2011 ODI World Cup, and the 2013 Champions Trophy, has been named as mentor of this team. But first, then I'll again go to the 15-member squad. So this is what it looks like now. Virat Kohli, captain; Rohit Sharma, vice captain; KL Rahul, Surya Kumar Yadav, Rishabh Pant as wicketkeeper; Ishan Kishan, the other wicketkeeper; Hardik Pandya, Ravindra Jadeja, Rahul Chahar, Ravichandran Ashwin, Akshar Patel. So that's lot of spinners there. Varun Chakravarti, Jasprit Bumrah, Bhuvneshwar Kumar, and Mohammad Shami, the pacer. So you see how many spinners they have packed it with. Of course, Jadeja, Ravindra Jadeja, Rahul Chahar, Ashwin, Akshar Patel, Varun Chakravarti. There are five spinners in that squad. The three specialist pacers, Jasprit Bumrah, Bhuvneshwar Kumar, Mohammad Shami, and of course the all-rounder in Hardik Pandya. Of course, Ravindra Jadeja also doubles up as an all-rounder. Now, there are three standby players. These they do name standby players in these squads. They are usually big squads. It's a main squad of 15, but the three standby players are Shreyas Iyer, Shardul Thakur, and Deepak Chahar, the other seamer. So Shardul Thakur, of course, he's been in brilliant form for India in um, both these test matches he's played recently. Remember, back in Brisbane, he scored that gutsy half century, two half centuries in that historic test match victory for India at the Oval. And of course, he got some important wickets as well, including that of Joe Root on the final day of that test match at the Oval. So this is what the team is looking like. I'll quickly go through that again. Virat Kohli, captain; Rohit Sharma, vice captain; KL Rahul, again, who's been in spectacular form in England; Surya Kumar Yadav, Rishabh Pant. Surya Kumar Yadav, of course, he got off to a brilliant start in his limited overs career against England; Ishan Kishan, alongside Surya Kumar Yadav, who made such an impressive debut against England just a few months back in that home series; Hardik Pandya, Ravindra Jadeja, Rahul Chahar, Ravichandran Ashwin, Akshar Patel, Varun Chakravarti, Jasprit Bumrah, Bhuvneshwar Kumar, Mohammad Shami. And the three standby players are Shreyas Iyer, Shardul Thakur, and Deepak Chahar. And the other big news is MS Dhoni has been named mentor of this squad for the T20 World Cup. Well, it's an interesting team. A lot of you are saying this is a very good team. A lot of you are also expressing surprise over no Yuzvendra Chahal. But in all fairness, the likes of Yuzvendra Chahal, Kuldeep Yadav, who've been around that limited over squad for the last few years, they were at one point really good in tandem. Your memory goes back to that tour of South Africa a few years back. But ever since, they have not quite evolved, and Yuzvendra Chahal has been leaking runs. He's to be honest, he's got his fair share of opportunities as well. But now India clearly looking at these five spinners as among those men who can make that difference in the Middle East for the T20 World Cup. Of course, the IPL starts in a few days from now. The second half of the IPL will resume. Remember, the first it was part of the tournament was postponed after surge in COVID cases earlier in the year. Now the second half will be played out in the UAE, and soon after, the T20 World Cup will also be played out in the Middle East. This is a very good team. You come to think of the likes of Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma, KL Rahul, that gives you a lot of batting depth with someone like Surya Kumar Yadav, Rishabh Pant, Ishan Kishan, and of course Hardik Pandya, Ravindra Jadeja. If you have these two all-rounders, it gives you a lot of balance, strength, and a lot of a variety in that bowling attack as well. Of course, there will also be a little drama and excitement around who those that opening combination could be. Remember, in that final game, the final T20 against England at home, after a fine partnership with Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli had indicated he might just walk out to open alongside Rohit. But also the fact is that Rohit and KL Rahul have been superb together. Of course, KL Rahul did not do very well in the T20Is against England, but he got some runs in the ODIs, and he's been very, very good in the test matches against England being played out now. And 4 out of the 5 series have been played. India, of course, leading 2-1. Then, and Rohit Sharma has played a critical role there, and he's a very, very good T20I player. He's a very good player in the shorter formats, and he's of course along with Rohit Sharma, he's been a very good, strong opening. That has been a very strong opening partnership. And you then look at what Surya Kumar Yadav has done in domestic cricket, and in particular for Mumbai Indians alongside Ishan Kishan. These guys will definitely have that impact. And you have someone like Rishabh Pant, who is, of course, he's proven material now. He's experienced. He's been around this Indian team for the last 3.5 years, so he knows exactly what he's doing. And of course, India have put faith in Rahul Chahar, who also played on that tour of Sri Lanka. No Kuldeep Yadav, no Yuzvendra Chahal. A lot of you are asking questions about what is wrong around Yuzvendra Chahal, but yes, that is he had his chances as well. There's no Shikhar Dhawan as well, but you look at the team combination, and it looks really, really nicely made up now. It's a good mix of youth. It's a good mix of experience. You have a variety in that attack. You have a left arm spinner in Ravindra Jadeja. You have someone like Ravichandran Ashwin, who has really evolved as well as a T20 cricketer. It's the fact that he's one of the greatest bowlers in the Test arena is not a wonder. But the fact is that over the years, Ravichandran Ashwin, you go back to a time in 2017 after the Champions Trophy, India had shifted their attention to the two wrist spinners, Kuldeep Yadav and Yuzvendra Chahal, and there was often word about whether the time is up for finger spinners in T20 cricket, especially in shorter formats, in especially T20s. But Ravichandran Ashwin, thanks to his class and his pedigree, he has always stayed relevant in all formats of the game. Of course, Test cricket, he's a different beast altogether. But in T20s, the fact that he's been named in that squad speaks volumes about the way R. Ashwin has shaped his game over the years. He's also a little more aggressive with the bat in T20s as well. He's shown that side in the IPL in a couple of innings. If you remember, he's really there and thereabouts. And of course, Akshar Patel, you will want to have him in that side. Excellent batsman, of course, lower down the order, and a very fine left arm spinner. Varun Chakravarti again. He's shot into fame majorly because of his exploits for the Kolkata Knight Riders. He's had that foray into T20 internationals, so you know that he is again someone that India would want to rely on. And of course, Rahul Chahar, the leg spinner. That's a lot of variety. Just with Bumrah, Bhuvneshwar Kumar, Mohammad Shami, absolutely no surprises there. You would have been thinking of someone like Siraj, and maybe. But the fact is that this is as good a combination as it gets, because in the UAE, in the Middle East, there how many spinners. This does show that India will rely heavily on the spinners to deliver. It'll be very interesting, of course. It'll be very interesting to look at. We'll try and do some playing 11 combinations for you as well. We'll try and figure how that is going to work for India. But this the batsmen, most of them pick themselves. You have like someone like KL Rahul, Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli at number 3, possibly Surya Kumar Yadav at number 4, Rishabh Pant at number 5. You could have Hardik Pandya at 6, Ravindra Jadeja at 7. If R. Ashwin is there, I definitely, that's again, this is a fun exercise. This is a lot that's going to ride on conditions, again, on the opposition, who you're playing against. So a lot of that factor will determine the team selection, of course. But then you have someone like R. Ashwin, Varun Chakravarti you have R. Ashwin at 8, you have Varun Chakravarti at 9, and then you have probably Bhuvneshwar Kumar ahead of Varun Chakravarti in that batting lineup, and you have Jasprit Bumrah. So it could be a toss-up there between Mohammad Shami and Bhuvneshwar Kumar. Again, remember, Bhuvneshwar Kumar is an excellent batsman. He showed that in that series against Sri Lanka as well. He's always been there and thereabouts as a batsman. Very, very reliable lower down the order, and he's been brilliant again in the recent matches, the recent shorter formats matches that he's played for India. So that's a very good team. Will India go with three spinners, and then they have those two paces, and of course there is Hardik Pandya on that side as well. So that looks like a very balanced team. And I'm still struggling to fit in someone like Ishan Kishan in that team. It looks like that kind of a side where you'd be spoiled for choice, given all of these players live up to their potential and are able to come and deliver the best that they can in the T20 World Cup. This is again an excellent, excellent combination. You look at this whole team lineup. A lot of comments coming in. We are talking about R. Ashwin, of course. Shikhar and Washington not there. Yes, there are of course Bhavya Patwa Jain is talking about Shikhar and Washington not there. I've spoken about Shikhar Dhawan. Washington Sundar, yes, he might feel a little hard done by, but then you have to look at the fact that you have someone like R. Ashwin. If you'd have R. Ashwin again, Washington Sundar has been very similar kind of an option there as an off spinner. So if you look at these spin options, you had Ravindra Jadeja, Akshar Patel, standout left arm spinners. You have a leggy in Rahul Chahar, you have an off spinner in R. Ashwin, and you have that mystery element in Varun Chakravarti. So you can understand why someone like Washington Sundar would miss out from that squad. 6 out of 15 players, Galvin Levy is saying, are Mumbai Indians players. Well, look, it just goes. It again speaks volumes about the quality of the Mumbai Indian side. These guys have been picked up absolutely on merit, and you've seen these guys perform consistently, whether it's for India, Mumbai Indians. Think of that. Surya Kumar Yadav, Ishan Kishan, they burst onto the scene. Mumbai Indians players, of course, in the IPL, but they come on to play for India, and they are just ready-made products, play so well. Hardik Pandya, you would not want to go into the T20 World Cup without an impact player like Hardik. Such a fine all-round cricketer, excellent fielder, excellent batsman. Yes, his fitness was a bit of an issue, wasn't bowling too many overs. Now with this break, you'd hope Hardik Pandya is back to full recovery, bowling at full tilt, and you get a lot of that glimpse in the IPL as well, and see how much of because those overs from Hardik Pandya, 2 or 3 overs every match, will be extremely critical for the balance of that squad. That will determine what kind of balance he lends to that side. We're looking at Bharat Mitkari. How can they choose 2 left-arm spinners in the squad? Instead, they haven't chosen Natarajan. Bharat, it's the fact is that these 2 are spinners. Natarajan is a pacer, so that's a different story. But the fact is that both Akshar Patel and Ravindra Jadeja are excellent all-rounders. They're very good spinners, and they think that in the UAE, of course, spinners are going to have that say. You look at the composition of the side, and it's packed with spinners. Jadeja, Ravindra Jadeja, Rahul Chahar, R. Ashwin, Akshar Patel, Varun Chakravarti. That's 5 spinners. So they obviously think that these spinners will have a massive say. Different spinners, Akshar Patel and Ravindra Jadeja, again, they have that slight difference. There's a very subtle difference, again, as left-arm spinners for both Jadeja and Akshar Patel. But the fact is that both of them are excellent fielders, and they add a lot of value as lower order batsmen. Ravindra Jadeja just he's proven himself in that in the fact that he's such a class all-rounder. So I think that those questions are a little unfair on these 2. They are not entirely similar. Boria has joined us. He was live on India Today. Boria, your first reactions on the squad. R. Ashwin in that lineup, 5 spinners, and MS Dhoni, the mentor.
If you see my tweets, you have seen the first tweet at 8:20 a.m. in the morning was on Ravi Ashwin. Yeah. And that is the thing I've been saying all day. If you hear my Sports Today broadcast at 5 p.m., I've been constantly harping on the point that for me, the selection will be Ravi Ashwin. For 3 reasons. Now, let me put all of this on record. I know for a fact that the board president, the secretary, has been talking to the captain and vice captain over the last 48 hours. I know Rohit Sharma's inputs have been sought. Obviously, Virat's inputs have been sought. I know there are 3 things being considered. And it's the 3 things are: 1, what is the impact of the IPL on the wickets? 2, the point that was made constantly was the grounds are big in Dubai, Sheikh Zayed Stadium. So Ravichandran Ashwin on tired wickets, which will assist spin, bigger grounds where the batsman will find it difficult to clear, will be an asset in the power play as well as in the death overs. That was the deliberation. That's why I was constantly harping on the point that selection or non-selection, that will be the talking point. And I had also an idea that, with Yuzvendra Chahal, they were not satisfied with Yuzvendra Chahal. So the experience was to be provided by Ash and Jaddu, which is the old combination of Ash and Jaddu. So these are your 1-2. And obviously Varun Chakravarti makes the cut. The other point is MS Dhoni. According to me, this is a sign of things to come. And if that is the case, I welcome it. Because MS getting involved in an administrative capacity in Indian cricket cannot be better news. Because everybody in that team, Rohit, Virat, if you go down that list, everyone has been groomed or mentored by MS as captain. Everybody has seen MS, including in World Cup 2019. MS has won the last 3 ICC events for India. It will be handy, just like Australia keeps adding Steve Waugh to the side, with Ricky already there. This will be the Indian think tank. So if you want additional inputs in the think tank, who better than MS to suss in the pressure? I think everyone who has been selected merits his or her place, number one. I'm slightly disappointed if you say, maybe not disappointed. Disappointed is actually the wrong word. I will say maybe you feel bad for Shikhar Dhawan and Shreyas Iyer to be in the reserves after having had great white ball. But I understand why they've got in 5 spinners. Because they've got X-factor hitters in Hardik and Pant. And of course, Surya. They have 3 openers in Rohit, Rahul and Virat. They have Ishan as backup wicketkeeper along with Pant. So the batting department is taken care. They have a Hardik as all-rounder. They've got Shardul in reserves. They've got 5 spinners. So clearly they know that the wickets will be tired. They know that spin will be the trump card. Yeah. And then they've got Booms. I think Booms, this is an indication, Rajarshi, Booms might be rested in Manchester. If you really want to go down that route, 5 test matches for Booms, followed by Mumbai Indians, followed by World Cup, doesn't look a reasonable workload. It looks unbearable workload. So if we understand right, Shami will make a comeback in Manchester, Booms will go out and get a period of much deserved rest. So Bhuvaneshwar Kumar, I said on our show afternoon, was a must, especially in Pakistan match, especially in New Zealand match. So Booms, Bhuvi, Shami, you have all. And then you have the reserves as well. I think it's a fantastic team with lots of X factors, but I welcome the inclusion of Ravichandran Ashwin.
Absolutely, and like you had predicted that about our Ashwin as well. Some questions on the fact why 5 spinners are we short of 1 fast bowler. I think both Boria and I have addressed that, and that's an unfair suggestion. Nobody's saying the Indian team is devoid of fast bowlers. It's the fact that they have gone, like Boria said, they have sussed up the conditions as such that it's they've obviously gone with 5 very different spinners. Again, Boria, just as one point that I was making, it's a lot of people are saying why would you have 2 left-arm spinners, but it's also important to identify the fact that there are those subtle differences between Akshar Patel and Ravindra Jadeja. Yes, left-arm spinners, left-handed batsmen, but those subtle differences, Boria, where do you see those differences and why have these 2 been added there?
You have all kinds of spinners. Frankly, let us be clear. This T20 World Cup will be a tournament where spin will play maximum role. Don't even sort of have any 2 doubts about it, okay? The IPL will be played for 1 month between September 19th and October 15th, which means the wickets will be tired. There is no 2 ways about it that the wickets will assist spin and go for turn. Your 5 spinners, you have 2 left-hand spinners, you have a mystery spinner in Varun, you have a leg spinner in Rahul, you have an off spinner in Ash. So you have covered every base. Why? Because you will play a team like Pakistan, you will have particular people in mind, horses for courses. You will play New Zealand, you will have particular people in mind, given the batting order on the other side. Ravindra Jadeja is also a big all-round ability player now. His batting is as good as his bowling. He can taunt the ball in these conditions. I think it's a very good selection. 5 spinners is welcome for me. Fast bowlers, by the way, Hardik will bowl. And I'm putting it on record on Sports Today. I said that. I know I mean, I know because I've spoken, Hardik will bowl. If Hardik bowls, that problem is taken care of, number one. Number two, you have Booms, you have Shami, you have Bhuvi. So you have enough and more fast bowling potential there. People are talking about Nattu. Yes, Nattu was definitely one keeper, in contention. But when has Nattu played last? You haven't seen Nattu in the last 2 months. Can he hold up? We don't know that. So I mean, again, something that I tweeted in the morning that I've not seen. I feel bad for Siraj because he's the most improved bowler, or even a Deepak Chahar because he's done enough in white ball cricket, but he's in the reserves. So is Shardul. This is a solid side. You have 5 spinners, 4 fast bowlers. I'm including Hardik because you've got the 3 plus Hardik 4. So you've got 9 there and you've got your batters. I think you've got 2 wicket keepers. Maybe that you can debate. You can say why Ishan Kishan and why not Shreyas Iyer. The reason is Virat right-hander, Rohit right-hander, Surya right-hander, Rahul right-hander. So you wanted 2. You have a Rishabh who's the only, and Hardik is also a right-hander. Only Rishabh was a left-hander with Ishan Kishan. You've got in another left-hander there, which is important, and then comes Jaddu. So that is I think, Rajorshi, this is a very, very good side. People can, debate till donkeys come home about certain exclusions. Always will happen with Indian cricket. But if you see, we have all our bases covered. I think this is an extremely talented team, and they will definitely go into the World Cup. Having played IPL there, with only question, workload management. Don't burn Booms out. Do not burn Shami out. Somehow you've got to rotate. You've got to keep these boys fresh. Bhuvi is fine because he's coming after a layoff. He needs match practice. But the batsmen are also okay. But as far as your bowlers are concerned, that is why I'm saying maybe a rest for Bumrah in Old Trafford, because you need him fast, furious and fresh going into the World Cup.
No, and before you joined us, Boria, I was just doing this fun exercise because there were a lot of questions around the combination. Some have pointed out the lack of pacers, and I was talking about why India have gone on those 5 different spinners and that subtle difference between Jadeja and Akshar Patel. But think about it, Boria, and obviously these will depend on conditions, at what stage the tournament is in against the opposition. Maybe a playing 11 like Rohit, KL Rahul, Virat Kohli, Surya Kumar Yadav, Rishabh Pant, Ravindra Jadeja, Hardik Pandya, R. Ashwin, Bhuvneshwar Kumar, Jasprit Bumrah. You don't even have a place for someone like Rishabh Pant in that starting 11.
No, Rishabh will be your first wicket keeper.
Sorry, I'm talking about Ishan Kishan
not being. Correct.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Correct.
I meant Rishabh Pant in that 11, but you may not have some place for someone like Ishan Kishan in the starting 11 after that sensational start to his career. That goes on to show the depth of the T20 squad as well. We all seen what they're doing in Test cricket there in England. But, we often forget about one format when India doing well in another. But that just goes on to show the depth that India have in every format, Bori.
100% right. 100%. If you really think that opening match against Pakistan, and if you want to visualize, I see Rohit and Rahul starting with Virat at 3, with Surya at 4, or you can toss it around, with Rishabh at 5, with Hardik at 6, with Jaddu at 7, with Ash at 8, with Booms 9, with Bhuvaneshwar Kumar 10, and then that last toss-up is between Mohammad Shami and another bowler maybe. Because with Jadeja and Jadeja at 7, that's what you're talking about. You don't need more batters in T20. If you have a Rohit, Rahul, Virat, Rishabh, Surya, Hardik and Jaddu, if that batting lineup doesn't win you a match, then I don't know what batting lineup will win you a match. And look at your combination. You have Ashwin, Hardik, Jaddu, Bumrah, Bhuvaneshwar Kumar and possibly a Shami or another bowler. So you have 6 genuine bowling options, which is what you need in T20 cricket. I think this is a fantastic side. Make no mistake, this is a fantastic side. Selectors have done their job. Now you can debate Rahul Chahar versus Yuzvendra Chahal. You can absolutely debate Shreyas Iyer versus Ishan Kishan. You can keep debating these things, but unfortunately, and I feel for Shreyas, he was injured. Otherwise, he would have made that squad. Unfortunately for Shikhar, he misses out. Unfortunately for Yuzvendra Chahal, he misses out. But that is the kind of competition you now have in Indian cricket. It is, you can feel the second 11, which is as strong. So that's the kind of depth you have, and this is a fantastic team.
And Buri, also the fact is, what do you think R. Ashwin has done so brilliantly in the shorter formats? You go back to what happened after the Champions Trophy. India went to that Kulcha combination, and everybody started saying that wrist spinners are not going to dominate in the shorter formats, especially T20s. And then you have someone like R. Ashwin making that comeback of sorts in the T20I side. What has he done so differently? Again, completely different beast in Test cricket. Nobody will ever question his greatness there. But what do you think he's done so differently to evolve as a T20 cricketer that he's in that squad?
I think two things, Rajarshi. Something he has done and something they expect him to do, which he's not done yet. What he has done is he has shown for Delhi Capitals how good he can be in white ball. And that too in the Middle East last year, including the final. Including the final, if you remember, the semi-final rather, that qualifier. It was Ravichandran Ashwin who did beautifully for Delhi Capitals. What he hasn't done is, or the team management expects him to do, is he can bowl in power play, bigger grounds. He's, okay, quote, two very influential members of the team, to the board think tank, Ashwin is the shrewdest bowler we have ever come across. So against the big teams, Pakistan, New Zealand, and look at their batting orders. Look at their batting orders and you will see the number of left-handers also in the mix. Think about it. Ravichandran Ashwin in the power play, Ravichandran Ashwin in the death will be tremendously handy. So I think what they expect of Ravichandran Ashwin is as important as what he has done. So it's a combination, and also the fact that Yuzvendra Chahal has not been able to live up to what they expected of Yuzvendra Chahal, and so did Kuldeep Yadav. Justifiably, they've not been able to live up to that expectation, coupled with the fact that, okay, had this tournament been in England, no Ravi Ashwin. No. Guaranteed. Had this tournament been in New Zealand, no.
Yeah.
Australia, no. Dubai, no IPL. Then again, that becomes interesting. But the fact is IPL, 1 month of cricket on those wickets. All of a sudden, you're that pacer from Deepak Chahar or Shardul Thakur moves to Ravichandran Ashwin because of the conditions. So they have gone with what they think, horses for courses. And I think they have gone down the right route. I've tweeted 4 times today, Rajesh. 4 times. 8 o'clock, afternoon, evening, and now, saying Ashwin, 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 because that is what I was hearing. I told Rahul Rawat in the evening at 6 p.m., Rahul, the surprise package is Ravi Ashwin. He said to me, nahi, Buryada, nahi hoga. I said, tum dekh lo, nahi ho sakta hai obviously, but selection or non-selection, mere liye wahi maina rakhta hai, interesting wahi hai. Tum dekh lena, wahi hoga. And that is because one could sense that from the talk that I was hearing, Jai Shah, Saurav Ganguly, Rohit Sharma, of course Virat Kohli, Ravi Shastri, the team management, the selectors, the talk was wickets, big grounds, IPL. What is the selection like? That's where Ravi Ashwin becomes very, very important.
No, it's very interesting what you pointed out that it's mostly to do with conditions and of course the fact that he's evolved as a T20 cricketer and what India's expectations should be. Much more realistic around R. Ashwin than T20 cricketer. But Boria, quickly before we go, it's very interesting. We spoke about MS Dhoni, but this is also a lot of people are going to go down that a lane of nostalgia around MS Dhoni. 2007, that first T20 World Cup. A lot of these cricketers weren't even talked about back then. Of course, someone like Virat Kohli was being spoken of in the domestic circuit. Rohit Sharma was, he was just about to explode as a very talented batsman who be on the, we want to keep an eye on. He was of course part of that squad, but it'll be a nice nostalgia to go away with on this show. MS Dhoni as mentor, and he's like you said, he's mentored all of these cricketers. But what a moment to have him in that setup. A lot of people are saying,
yeah, but I don't think it's a one-off. I actually don't think it's a one-off. If Australia can go with Justin Langer, if they can go with Ricky Ponting, what stops India from going down the MS Dhoni route as mentor or coach? I think everybody will benefit from having MS in the dressing room. I think post Ravi, who has done a superb job, if we go to MS, he has stature, he has credibility, he has that aura around him that he can control the big stars of Indian cricket. I think this is the start of MS Dhoni in a different role. And as I'm saying constantly, I would be delighted if MS Dhoni is inducted into the coaching staff or management post Ravi in some shape or form. So I think this is the start of that. And if that is the case, Saurav and Jai deserve a hell lot of credit for inducting him into the team's think tank for this World Cup. For me, that is it. Not a one-off, but an MS Dhoni position being created with a long-term vision to serve Indian cricket. And I'm sure they've consulted MS. Otherwise, this couldn't have been done.
Of course.
So they've consulted MS. He's consented to it. He will anyway be in Dubai for the IPL and he will stay on. This cannot be a better news for Indian cricket.
Absolutely. And whatever you're talking about, MS Dhoni brought a smile to my face. And, it will be such a lovely combination to have after Ravi Shastri, MS Dhoni as mentor, coach, or some form of the other. And by the way, Boria, all these battles, these IPL battles have also started on the sideline of a comment. 6 players from Mumbai Indians, nobody apart from Virat Kohli on RCB, Dhoni representing that Chennai setup. That's what fans are going to do around the IPL and the T20 World Cup. This is going to be another fun element to watch out for. Somebody was also asking if an exceptional performance in the IPL could sort of make any changes. No, that's not going to happen because the squad has already been announced and those 3 reserve players because of obviously the bio bubble and everything. But Boria, before we go quickly, how would you rate this team out of 10? Your rating on this team selection for the T20 World Cup?
9, because the only thing is they've not won an ICC tournament in some years, so they've got to take that pressure off the knockout match, and that's where MS will help. If you really ask in terms of potential, they are right up there with any team in the world. They go in as favorites like the West Indies, like England, and of course any team, England, West Indies, India. So they've got that much potential. There can't be better batsmen than Virat, Rahul, Rohit, right? There can't be better hitters than Hardik, Rishabh and Surya. There can't be better death bowlers than Jasprit and Bhuvi. There can't be better spinners than Jaddu and Ash. So where is the question of potential even coming? The only thing is we haven't won an ICC trophy, semi-final, final, semi-final, final. So that's where the point is. That's why 9. We need to cross that hurdle, get that redemption. A win in England will set it up for Virat. Australia win, England win, will be on a high, coming to the IPL, and then will want to win this World Cup to sign off what is perhaps his greatest year as captain. So this is a top team going into the World Cup with a top side. Hopefully we will be able to lift that trophy. But in terms of potential, I keep saying it, in terms of preparation, in terms of potential, India has all the boxes ticked.
Absolutely. Packed with spinners, and there are batsmen also, India batsmen who play spinners so well. KL Rahul, Rohit Sharma up the order, and then you have Surya Kumar Yadav and Rishabh Pant down the order. There's a power-packed team. Like Boria Mojumdar said, 9 out of 10. He'd rate the squad of 15. And of course, the 3 reserve players, Shardul, Shreyas Iyer and Deepak Chahar, Rahul's cousin, in that reserve. Thank you so much, Boria, for joining me. I know you came on quickly from that India Today broadcast. It's a good team, like Boria said, well balanced batsmen, all rounders, spinners, pacers, and of course MS Dhoni, the mentor. That's the big news. Apart from Ashwin's inclusion in that side. Thank you so much for joining us today. Do subscribe to the channel and see you all very soon with more updates on the sports selection. Thank you.